Weight stigma refers to negative treatment or negative attitudes towards people based on their body weight, most commonly towards those who are overweight or obese. Weight stigma can include stereotyping, social exclusion, teasing and gossip, to outright discrimination. Weight stigma can occur in an individual's home, at schools and workplaces, in healthcare, and on news media or social media. Experiencing weight stigma is linked to physical and mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, chronic stress, substance abuse, and even suicidal thoughts. Stigma often leads to additional unhealthy behaviours, such as an increase in disordered eating and avoiding social functions and physical activity due to embarrassment. Irving Goffman brought the term stigma into sociology. Goffman identified 3 types of stigma: abominations of the body, a physical aspects such as deformities or body weight. Secondly, defective character, such as mental illness, addictions, and other character flaws. And thirdly, tribal stigma, related to race, nationality, and religion. Goffman talks about being discreditable versus discredited. Goffman says people are all discreditable, as everyone has something, often hidden, that if uncovered they could be discredited for. One only becomes discredited when the attribute is known to others. Those who face the most stigma are usually discredited for their visible attributes such as weight, race, gender, or physical disability. Goffman describes discredited individuals as having their identities spoiled. Discreditable attributes are not by definition bad. Stigma is social in nature and involves a relationship between the attribute and the viewers. Stigma is created in comparison to a group that is considered normal. Much of society views overweight people as lacking willpower and self-control. Attitudes regarding weight are usually learned from an early age through exposure to weight biases from other people or through the media. Negative attitudes and social rejection of people because of their weight is often due to assumptions that these individuals deserve what they get because it's their fault that they're overweight. Obesity is seen in many cultures as a physical abnormality. Recent research and theory suggests that weight stigma involves assumptions that obese people have both inferior psychological character and inferior physical appearance. However, underweight individuals can also experience weight stigma, for example, being viewed as weak or sick or presumed to have an eating disorder. Around the 16th century, excess body fat was seen in many societies as a sign of wealth and prosperity, largely due to the prevalence of epidemics, poverty, and famine. Renaissance art often depicted large hourglass-shaped women, a body shape associated with wealth and fertility at the time. Obesity first became a public health concern in the 18th century, when the Industrial Revolution led to more high-calorie foods and lifestyles demanding less physical activity. The 19th and 20th centuries saw widespread increases in obesity, finally becoming a global epidemic in the late 20th century and remains so today. However, up until recent decades, many cultures remained fat positive, including Puerto Rico, American Samoa, and Tanzania. Excess weight symbolized success, generosity, fertility, wealth, and beauty. However, globalization and increasing exposure to Western culture since the 1990s have led to weight stigma. These same societies now view overweight individuals as lazy, undesirable, and lacking self-control. In 2022, almost 2/3 of Australian adults and over a quarter of Australian children 5 to 17 years old were overweight or obese. However, world obesity statistics are measured using BMI, or body mass index. BMI does not indicate health, it is simply the height to weight ratio of an individual. It does not consider age, muscle mass, bone density, or any other factors. Therefore, somebody with a high amount of muscle mass and low body fat may still fall under the obese category. The questionable BMI method can misrepresent certain bodies as obese and contribute to weight stigma. A more accurate measure of ideal body weight is body fat percentage, which measures the percentage of fat on an individual's body, regardless of their height or the mass of their other bodily tissues. Western culture portrays obesity as primarily caused by overeating, laziness, and a lack of self-control. However, research does not support this assumption. Most studies have found that genetic and metabolic factors influence body weight much more than diet does. Even so, weight loss programs and obesity prevention campaigns usually focus only on personal responsibility. They do not consider genetics or the psychological, environmental, economic, and social factors. This reinforces society's belief that if somebody is overweight, it is their fault, and that it is easy to control body weight through diet and exercise alone. These misconceptions and lack of knowledge regarding the factors are major contributors to the stigma and discrimination. Studies show that more than half of all health professionals convey a weight bias. Also, more than 50% of overweight patients say that their doctors have said inappropriate things about their weight. Doctors displaying weight biases often believe that overweight and obese people lack discipline and will not comply with their recommendations. Therefore, they provide them with less medical information and spend less time on average in appointments with overweight patients. Overweight individuals also face bullying and discrimination in their careers. They have fewer educational and employment opportunities, and on average, obese people earn less money. It is very common to see celebrities face weight stigma through various media channels. Oprah Winfrey has been stigmatized due to her weight for over 25 years. Article headlines such as Oprah fatter than ever and Oprah warned diet or die caused intense shame. The judgment and stigma led Oprah to go on liquid diets and starve herself for nearly 5 months to lose weight. Oprah blamed herself for not having enough willpower to control her weight. However, in 2007, Oprah was diagnosed with hypothyroidism, also known as an underactive thyroid. One of the main symptoms of this condition is weight gain. Other symptoms, such as fatigue and muscle weakness, interfere with exercise goals. This is a condition where ideal body weight cannot easily be maintained through diet and exercise alone. The fat acceptance movement started in New York in 1967 to protest against weight discrimination. 2 years later, the National Association to Advance Fat Acceptance, NAFA, was created. The body positivity movement also hails from the fat acceptance movement and promotes inner worth, appreciation, and acceptance of all body shapes and sizes. Recently, NAFA helped launch the Campaign for Size Freedom, designed to gain legal protections and change the cultural portrayals of body weight. Since the beginning of this campaign in early 2023, New York City became the 7th US city to ban height and weight discrimination in employment, housing, and public accommodations. To date, though, there are very few weight discrimination laws throughout the world, and it remains one of the few forms of socially acceptable stigmatization. In recent years, models of various shapes and sizes have been included in advertising to promote body diversity and acceptance. However, some researchers have suggested implementing policies that exclude overweight and underweight models. They argue that plus-size models and the increased acceptance of overweight bodies results in less motivation for people to lead a healthy lifestyle and contributes to the obesity epidemic. Such policies would undo recent efforts to increase the normality and acceptance of different body types and publicly reinforce the weight stigma and discrimination. Recently, the Australian Government introduced the National Obesity Strategy 2022 to 2023 to help change the current societal conditions that influence weight gain. They wish to develop prevention strategies and help overweight individuals become healthier. However, much of the campaign's focus is on individual responsibility to eat better and exercise more, ultimately reinforcing the narrative that a healthier diet and more exercise is all that's required for people to lose weight and maintain an ideal weight. In conclusion, weight stigma is a common and largely accepted form of stigmatisation present throughout modern cultures. While there have been recent efforts to fight the stigma, weight challenges continue to be misunderstood and misrepresented throughout society, which prevents the change of the stereotypes and attitudes that lead to weight stigma and discrimination.